What up, YouTube? Welcome to TMC Fishing. Like always, I appreciate you for watching. All right, so today's plan. We're out at the small pond again. We actually brought the kayak this time. We've got some weather rolling in later today and into tomorrow. We got some storms rolling in. So that sets us up, hopefully, for a good day. Today I really wanted to go over kind of summer patterns and what changes whenever we're in, this is mid-June. So this is dog days of summer, guys. It's 100 and last week it was 113. Today it's still supposed to be in the high 90s even with this storm rolling in. But we're going to talk a little bit about pressures and what that means to the fish. And then we're going to talk about weather patterns to look for and which ones to avoid and how it sets up. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is water conditions like this. We've got low water and a lot of weeds. And so that makes throwing a vast majority of your lures just not possible, because anything with treble hooks on this grass is just going to get fouled up. So I'm going to show you guys kind of the tactics and what to look for and what to avoid in a situation like this. But come along, let's go catch some fish. All right, so we're going to start off on the bank here first, and I'm going to do a little half lap and check some stuff out. And I kind of want to just watch the water and see how active these fish are. According to Bass Forecast, ooh, there's a fish right there. According to Bass Forecast, the bite's supposed to turn on about noon, and it is about 9 o'clock right now, 8:30. So we're gonna give it just a little bit and see what these fish want and see what kind of mood they're in. I'm seeing lots of dragonflies, which is a really good sign for the topwater bite. At least in this pond, that really seems to be what these bass like to key in on all summer is the dragonflies on top, and then of course the bluegill underneath. So we're gonna start with the frog over the top of these mats. And so this grass right here, this is called hydrilla. Okay, this type of grass. And at least here in Arizona, you don't get a whole lot of bodies of water with hydrilla, with good grass. Most of the time you get that, like, we call it snot grass. Just really gunky stuff that sticks on the bottom. And that's pretty much what you're going to get in most bodies of water. We're kind of lucky that this one has this type of grass in it, because hydrilla makes these big mats like this. And holy cow, that fish went completely airborne. That was nuts. That dragonfly. Let's see if we can get him to. I don't know if he's big enough to eat this frog, but so it creates these mats, and initially when you look at it, you would say, okay, well, nothing can live in here because it's so thick. But what it does is it grows up, and then once it hits the surface, it goes out. So it actually makes a big mat, and there is lanes. You can kind of see, like right here, there's lanes underneath it, and it actually allows for shade. And especially in ponds, that's a huge deal, because the water's not ever deep enough in a body of water like this for the fish to get away from the sun, because fish don't have eyelids. So the sun can hurt their eyes, and in a lake or something, fish will go deep to get away from that. Well, they can't do that here, obviously, because the water's just not deep enough. And so getting up underneath these mats gives them the ability to get out of the sun and a little cooler water right off the rip there. So That's why we're going to target this grass today. And like I said, I'm kind of paying attention to where I'm seeing activity in fish, because you know, the sun gets higher, they tend to slide up, whereas like first light, last light, they'll be out more in the middle. Before that sun gets high, or if the cloud cover moves in. So ooh. So we can go round 2 on the frog. Frog on a frog. Oh, he missed it. He went for it though. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think he finally noticed I was here. That's funny. It's so crazy to me how aggressive bullfrogs are towards other frogs. He just has no depth perception and missed every bite, but it's still funny. All right, and this is the other lure that I brought for this first little deal, is a swim jig. And I've never really fished a swim jig before, so this is going to be a learning experience for me. These bass are going nuts over here. All right, I'm seeing enough activity out in the open water. I think we're gonna go launch the kayak and try some of that stuff. So I'll see you guys on the water. All right, we're on the water. I was seeing quite a bit of activity, but we don't have much wind. So one of my favorite lures to throw topwater when there's no wind is a popper, a little topwater popper. And I actually found this popper when I pulled up. It was sitting next to my tire. So one man's trash, right? So we're gonna try it out because it's a cool color. Maybe they were onto something here. And we're gonna work this inside edge of this reed line and see if we can't get a little bit of action. And then if this doesn't work, we've got a fluke tied on. Ooh. Just a smidge in here. And this is what makes it tough right here, is this. All this hydrilla throwing treble hooks is really tough, especially from the bank. It's almost impossible. So it's one of the perks about having the kayak, is that I can fish a lot of water that a bank fisherman can't, because you got to pull them through that stuff. they appear to be kind of up in it. Off this edge here. Yeah, I think I need a little wind for the buzzbait. I think we're just too flat calm for the top water, if the popper ain't gonna do it. So we're gonna bust out Old Faithful here. Just a little. This is the Guggen Dart, little fluke style bait. And we're gonna try this out. Alright, sweet. First fish. Finally. Been bouncing around trying to figure out where these fish are, and they do seem to be pushed way back up in this grass. Just threw that fluke in there, little holes, and trying to let them pick it off. That's exactly what happened. A 1-pounder. Heck yeah. They're still blowing up back here, so hopefully we can get a couple more. Alright, we're gonna go back to the truck real fast and make some adjustments, because these, nothing I got right now is working, so let's see. Alright, ran back to the truck, did some switch ups. Seems like these fish are a little more lethargic than I thought they would be in this weather, so I think we're waiting for those clouds to get overhead, and that'll turn everything on. But till then, we're going to switch up to a drop shot. Get a little finessey with it and see if perhaps that'll get enough attention here. I mean, you still got fish jumping, so definitely leads me to believe that there's a topwater bite to be had some way, somehow. See that? They're all over. I just can't figure out what they want. So like this guy's chasing all over here. See? But I kind of think that that's a bluegill. Oh yeah. There we go, like a 2-pounder. That's what I was hoping for. Oh, it's so dope. The whole time I was on the other side, I kept hearing popping and splashing back here like there was fish in this little back pocket. And so I was like, you know what? I'm hot. My back hurts from paddling. We're finally getting some cloud cover, and I figured, man, I'll come back here and flip the frog around while the truck cools off because it's so hot. Everything's overheating. And this guy came up and crushed it right here off the bank. So much fun. All right. That makes me feel so much better because I was getting frustrated about not catching anything. And see, a lot of people think, man, oh, it's summer, it's hot, the fish are going to be way out deep. They're going to be in the deepest, darkest water, so I'm going to cast out there into the middle. And I'll tell you, that's just not the case. You know, especially in these ponds. You know, these reeds and this grass is the only structure these fish have. There's nothing out there in the middle for them. So unless they're actively chasing bait or something out there in the middle, it doesn't do them a whole heck of a lot of good to be out there in the middle. It behooves them to be up in this stuff. Yes, it's shallow, but the bluegill are here. I'm seeing tons of bluegill and minnows and bait and, you know, everything else. There's another big splash out there. I didn't want to cast closer to the bank. Ooh, ooh. I'm gonna catch another bullfrog. He's gonna come get it, watch. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, he missed. Get it. Oh. Get it. Ooh. Oh. Bullfrogs are funny. Alright, well, that was the morning anyways. So it was rough. It was really rough. Hot, sweaty, but still caught some fish, still made it work. On some of the techniques that are kind of tried and true in this situation. Number one being a fluke is just a phenomenal spring and summertime bait. Anything, you know, bluegill or shad color, depending on your body of water, pretty much always catches them. And really there's two ways to do it. If you're fishing a body of water like this with lots of grass and stuff, you either run it down the outside or inside grass edge, or you flip it into the holes. and hope that those fish are sitting waiting for something to drop down and hit it, which in this case it was. And the other being a frog. A frog is just a staple for this stuff. It's one of the only things you can throw, and it's one of the funnest things you can throw. So it's kind of a win all the way around in that case. I thought for sure the popper would work, and I don't really have a good reason why it didn't. I just think the fish just weren't pushed out into the middle as much as I thought, or they're keying into those dragonflies and that popper's just a little too big or something. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, it goes to show that even with everything set up in our favor, you know, Bass Forecast said today's a 10 out of 10, an epic day for fishing. And everything sets up right. We've got a storm rolling in, we've got some cloud, we even had a little bit of rain there for a minute, a little breeze. I mean, everything you could ever hope for, especially summertime fishing. And it was still super tough. So don't get discouraged when you're out there fishing right now. It's kind of how it is it's just a couple here and there. The lakes are better because you can cover a lot more water. But even then, I've talked to a couple guys who have gone to the lake and really struggled. You know, if you don't have good electronics and stuff to fish deep, the shallow bite's tough right now. It's kind of a first light, last light thing, if you can do it. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged, and don't be afraid to try something new and step out of your comfort zone this time of year. But like always, guys, I really appreciate you for watching, and I will see you next time.